Back, and this is deku with a demigod. So let's get started. If you didn't see part 0, go watch it. It'll explain some things to you. But yeah, essentially, I haven't came up with a power scaling yet, but yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention that his wings and horns glow. So yeah. Oh, and I should be calling Deku him in this what if. You guys spoke. And I'm doing it for you guys now. Deku is a girl in this what if. So I should recall this. Rename this what if Deku was a demigoddess. But yeah, to be serious, it's just, funnier to say demigoddess. But yeah, let's get serious. Essentially, Deku is going to have this aura around her. Sorry if I accidentally say him. I'm just used to saying him while talking about Deku. So yeah. But basically, yeah, she is just going to have this aura of attractiveness around her, because that is a known ability for, demigods to have. They basically are like rabbits. Well, in Greek mythology. But yeah. I am definitely taking some parts from Greek mythology. But yeah, you guys can make your own gods in the comments. It's like a 40% chance that I'll actually make that a god. If it's, not already been, if one of the elements are not already, called. So yeah. Essentially, yeah. Deku is pretty much just going to be a normal girl. Other than she has, well, they had a lot more girl Dekus than this, but yeah. But yeah, Deku is pretty much just going to be, just trying to have fun and stuff like that. She's just going to be a normal girl, besides, being a demigod. So, yeah. She's pretty much just going to love to be outside in the sunlight. And she's going to love being around fires. I'm going to say that her mom takes her out camping sometimes. And yeah, by the age of 4, her dad actually sent, her mom something that said that this is a good camp that she can go to. And the camp is basically just going to, the camp's just going to be revolving around mages and mythical beasts. There's going to be some demigods there too. Basically, this is a unspoiled sanctuary for mythical beasts and mages. Oh right, and quirks evolved from magic. So yeah, some people that have magic also have a quirk. So yeah, that's kind of a given. But yeah, pretty much Deku is going to be going to this camp. She's going to meet a lot of nice people, and she meets this nice girl called Zoe. Yeah, I'm doing this again. I do this literally in almost every what if I think I'm going to finish. Well, at least like. So yeah. Pretty much they're just going to be talking, and Zoe asks what her quirk is. And Deku says she hasn't developed it yet. And Zoe says she hasn't developed hers either. And yeah, pretty much Deku is just going to have a lot of fun at the camp until they actually introduce them to the beast. So yeah. essentially, Deku's going to find out about this, and she's going to be forced to pick a familiar. And every animal just basically crowds around Deku. And the one that, meets her eye catches her eye the most is, well, a dragon. It's basically a baby dragon that's completely white that can breathe fire. And Deku thinks this is a cool looking dragon. And she doesn't realize that it has a second ability. It can not also control light. So yeah. Once Deku basically does the familiar contract, she basically can hear it talk. So yeah. And it also has metamorphosis. Just a little, extra spell. It's basically a spell I made up. I don't know if it's an actual spell, but it basically turns it into that real, to the, the non-fantasy animal that most represents, Like, a baby dragon most represents a lizard of some kind, so yeah. And, yeah, Deku is pretty much just going to, have fun with it. Zoe, basically, her familiar is a black cat with emerald green eyes. And it has a special ability, called, Sleepwave. It's not a quirk, it's basically a magical spell. It basically makes everyone go to sleep. Besides, the cat. And it can basically steal, money and stuff like that. But all of those animals also, all of them have metamorphosis. So if they choose to, they can go into human form. So basically, like Deku's dragon, it has a human form. So yeah. Oh, and you guys can name it. I cannot come up with a name for a white dragon that breathes fire and has some light spells. So yeah, I can't think of anything. So yeah. Uh, yeah, so Deku is pretty much just going to have it on her shoulder all the time. So yeah. And yeah, Deku is pretty much just going to go out to a field late at night where there's a bunch, and I mean a bunch of familiars and other creatures. Like there's some centaurs, there's some minotaurs, there's some, wow, I cannot remember a lot of the fantasy creatures I know right now. But yeah, there's just basically a lot. Oh, there's some unicorns in that field. And yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention that Deku has white hair with some red in it. So yeah, that's just the only thing I forgot to mention. And yeah, pretty much Deku is just going to be flying around with her dragon, playing with it, and stuff like that. And the entire camp is curious what her quirk is. They believe it's a mutation type. And yeah. But they see the horns and the wings, and they're also they think it's mutation type, or she could be related to a god. So they're basically just going to treat her like she was a normal kid. So yeah. Yeah, this is probably more of a 0.5, but I'm just going to continue on until we get to the subject one. Basically, once Deku goes to the quirk doctor says she has no quirk. And she asks, then what does then what do the wings mean and the horns? And the doctor is saying, and he's basically just curious how she has horns, and wings. And basically says an anomaly, a genetic anomaly or something like that. Because a mutation Quirk could have theoretically done this to her. But, the doctor's just going to play it off like it could just be a mutation Quirk at work. Because, essentially it could be a mutation type Quirk that just got rid of those two bones. Added those two. So, yeah. He's basically just going to shrug his shoulders. And Deku basically says, well, her mom basically says she has a fire quirk, and her dad has a light quirk. So maybe it's one of those two. And Deku tries messing around with it, and she accidentally, burns something with the white flames. And her mom says she has a fire quirk with a little white in it. And, basically, Deku also says she thinks she can do one more thing with it. And she basically, shines a light through a window and focusing it down to a point so it starts burning the ground. So, basically trying to make a magnifying effect just with the light itself. And Deku says, Deku says she thinks she can do more and condense it even further until it starts evaporating the ground. And the doctor says she has a pretty powerful quirk. And, And they have no idea what to call it, but pure destruction. Because, it basically revolves around fire, which is pure, but it destroys a lot. So, And when they get into kindergarten, Deku says her quirk is called pure destruction. And she basically shows what it can do. It basically can magnify light. It can heal people. It can start fires. She can not fly. She can impale people with her horns. Even though they're sideways horns that loop around and come out to a point. So, And, Deku is pretty much going to get the name Deku because she can do almost anything. And Deku is probably going to be experimenting with her light. And she tries creating a light figure. Like, basically, she tries creating a person out of light. But she managed to do it, like, for an animal. But it completely drained her. It's not only magic, it's basically, it's only magic. Well, it's not just magic, it's heavenly magic, holy magic, whatever. I'm going to be ending this. No, not right now. But pretty much Deku is just going to be a pretty popular kid because of her quirk. And, this is all happening at 3, so, Oh, and the camp was at 4, so, just change. She knows her quirk and said it's pure destruction, so, just cut that out. But, Deku pretty much just is a pretty popular kid because of her quirk. She can pretty much do almost anything. And her horns, she figured out a nice little trick that she can do. She calls it plasma wave because she basically uses her horns to channel all the light energy into a focused point. And it basically just releases into a humongous burst. She's only done it into the sky, so she doesn't know the limits to it or how hot it is. But I would say it's over 2 billion degrees Fahrenheit. I mean Celsius. No, over 2 sextillion degrees Celsius. Yeah, that is literally one of the biggest numbers I know. So yeah. So yeah. And yeah, Deku is pretty much just going to be walking home, and she senses something. She doesn't have that big of a enhanced sense, but she can tell when something's wrong. So Deku pretty much just flies up. I do not think if it's a mutation type quirk, I do not think that's breaking any law if you have a mutation type quirk and can fly with it. I do not think that, because that's literally physically part of their bodies. So yeah, I'm just going to give that the okay. But yeah, pretty much Deku just flies up a little bit, and the Sludgeville says, "You're mine!" And Deku just flies up as fast as she can, and basically creates this humongous disco ball of light going around the entire city, and then she just drops it onto the villain, the Sludge villain, and he's basically evaporating because of how hot this is. And yeah, pretty much that the Sludge villain is still barely alive. It's barely hanging on. And All Might comes out of the sewers and says, "Kid, why did you use your quirk? You know that's illegal, right?" And Deku says, "I know it's illegal, but the Sludge villain was trying to harm me." So, yeah, I do not get that law, period. Basically, if quirks were real, I do not think any country would ban them, because that would be too much of a confusing system. So, yeah. Basically, Deku just nuked the Sludge villain. And that wasn't even at her full power. That was at about 4%. Oh, and she still has a dragon. It basically follows her around anywhere, but it basically sleeps on her shoulder a lot of the time. Because since she's got it, a demigod, she's worth more than gold to a dragon. So, yeah. I'm going to be ending this part off. So, like, subscribe, comment, and see you guys later.